Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBD founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon Guru Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापर नदी धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल प्रसारम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। हरे कृष्ण धाम ह्यूस्टन की जय। युग धर्म हरे कृष्णा महामंत्र की जय। द डिवाइन लॉर्ड शिव श्री निताई चैतन्य चंद्र निताई गौर चंद्र की जय। द डिवाइन लॉर्ड शिव श्री राधा गिरिधारी जी की जय। द डिवाइन लॉर्ड शिव श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। द डिवाइन लॉर्डशिप एंड मोस्ट मर्सीफुल श्री राधा नीला माधव की जय। श्री राधा नीला माधव गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guru.
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय कुंज बिहारी। गौर प्रेमानंदी जयम नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Sai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Raise this up. Don't this. Raise this up. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयर्मुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, Text 17. This chapter is entitled The Prayers of the Personified Vedas. धृतया इव स्वसन्ति अशुभृत्तो यदि नुविधा धृतया इव स्वसन्ति अशुभृत्तो यदि ते नुविधा महत् अहम् आदयोन्दम् असृजन् यत् अनुग्रतः महत् अहम् आदयोन्दम् असृजं यत् अनुग्रतः पुरुषविदोन्मयोऽत्र चरमोन्नमयादिषु यः पुरुषविदोन्वयोऽत्र चरमोन्नमयादिषु यः सत् असतः परं त्वम् अत यत् एष आवेशमृतम् सत् असतः परं त्वम् अत यत् एष आवेशम् ऋतम् धृतय इव स्वसन्ति असुभृत्तो यदि नुविधाम् महत्तदम् आदयोन्दम् असृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषविदोन्वयोऽत्र चरमोन्नमयादिषु यः मत् असत् परं त्वम् अथ यत् एष आवेशमृतम् धृतय इव स्वसन्ति अशुभृत्तो यदि ते नुविदा महत्तदम् आदयोन्दम् असृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषविदोन्वयोऽत्र चरमोन्नमयादिषु यः सत् असत् परं त्वम् अथ यत् एष अवेशमृतम् धृतया इव स्वसन्ति असुभृत्तो यदि ते नुविधा महदहम् आदयोन्दमसृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषविदोन्वयोऽत्र चरमोन्नमयादिषु यः तया इव स्वसन्ति अशुभृत्तो यदि तेनुविधा महतहम् आदयोन्दमसृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषाविदोऽन्वयोऽत्र चरमोऽन्नमयादिषु यः तत् अशत्तपरं त्वं मत यत् एव अशेषं तितम् तया इव स्वसन्ति अशुभृत यते तु तेनुविधा महतहम् आदयोन्दमसृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषाविदोऽन्वयोऽत्र चरमोऽन्नमयादिषु यः ततशतपरं त्वं मथ यत् एष अवेशसंगितम् तया विदन्ति त्यो यदीनुविदा महतहम् आदयोन्दमसृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषविदोऽन्वयोऽत्र चरमोऽन्नमयादिषु यः सतशतपरं त्वं मत यतेषु अवेशसंहृतम् धृतया इव स्वसन्ति अशुभृत्य यदुतेनुविधा महतयम् आदयोन्दमसृजन् यत् अनुग्रहतः पुरुषाविदोऽन्वयोऽत्र चरमोऽन्नमयादिषु यः शतशतपरं त्वं मथ यतेषु अवशेषमृतम् धृतयः bellows iva as if swasanti they breathe ashubhrittaha alive yadi if te your anuvidaha faithful followers mahat the total material energy aham false ego adayaha and the other elements of creation andam the universal egg asrajan produced yat whose anugrahataha by the mercy purusha of the living entity vidaha according to the particular forms anvayaha whose entrance atra among these charamaha the ultimate annamaya adishu among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so on. Yaha, who, sat asattaha, from gross and subtle matter, param, distinct, tvam, you, ata, and furthermore, yat, which, eshu, among these, abhashesham, underlying, Ritam, the reality. Translation. Only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually alive. Otherwise, their breathing is like that of the bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements, beginning with the Mahatattva and false ego, created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one, entering within the material coverings, along with the living entity and assuming the same forms as those he takes. Distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestations, you are the reality underlying them all. So please repeat, only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually alive. Otherwise, their breathing is like that of a bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements, beginning with the Mahatattva and false ego, created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one, entering within the material coverings, along with the living entity and assuming the same forms as those he takes. Distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestations, you are the reality underlying them all. Only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually alive. Otherwise, their breathing is like that of a bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements, beginning with the Mahatattva and false ego, created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one, entering within the material coverings, along with the living entity and assuming the same forms as those he takes. Distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestations, you are the reality underlying them all. Interesting here, Prabhupada translates Sat and Asat as gross and subtle matter. We are used to understanding Sat and Asat as material and spiritual, but here Prabhupada translates Sat and Asat as gross and subtle matter. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Life is without purpose for one who remains ignorant of his most well-wishing benefactor and thus fails to worship him. Such a person's breathing is no better than the breathing of a blacksmith's bellows. The gift of human life is a fortunate opportunity for the conditioned soul. But by turning away from the Lord, the living being commits spiritual suicide. In the words of the Sri Upanishad, text 3, Asurya namate loka andena tamasavratah tamste pretya bigachanti yeke chatma hanojanaha. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Asuryaha means to be obtained by demons, and demons are persons who have no devotion for the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This definition is stated in the Agni Purana. Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asura evacha Vishnu bhakti paro daiva asurastat viparyayaha. There are two kinds of created beings in this world, godly and demoniac. Those dedicated to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu are godly, and those opposed to such service are demoniac. Similarly, the Brihat Aranyaka Upanishad 4:15 states, Na chet abedin mahati vinashtihi, yetat vidur amritaste bhavanti atetare dukham evopayanti. If one does not come to know the Supreme, he must suffer utter destruction. Those who realize the Supreme become immortal, but others inevitably suffer. A person must revive his Krishna consciousness to be relieved of the suffering caused by ignorance. But the process by which this is done need not be difficult, as Lord Krishna assures us in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 34, Manmana bhava matbhaktho matyajimam namaskuru mam evashyasi yuktyavam atmanam matparayanaha. Engage your mind in always thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Despite disqualifications and weaknesses, one need only willingly become Anuvidha, Supreme Lord's trusting and trustworthy servant. The Katha Upanishad 2.2.13 proclaims, Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman tam pitagam ye nupashyanti dhiras tesham shanti shashvati netaresham. Among all the eternal conscious beings, there is one who supplies the needs of everyone. The wise souls who worship him in his abode attain everlasting peace. Others cannot. So we'll stop here. It's a very long commentary. So please take note that we finish in chapter 2. Page 623, the first paragraph. Only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually alive, otherwise their breathing is like that of a bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements, beginning with the Mahat Tattva and the false ego, created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one, entering within the material coverings along with the living entity and assuming the same forms as those he takes, distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestations. You are the reality underlying them all. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually alive, otherwise their breathing is like that of a bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements beginning with the Mahat Tattva and false ego created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one, entering within the material coverings along with the living entity and assuming the same form as those he takes. Distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestations, you are the reality underlying them all. So there's a similar verse in the Bhagavatam. It speaks about, and what is the use of somebody who breathes is just like a bellow. So it makes a similar comparison. So what is the purpose of life? And many people ask all the time, right? So when Prabhupada was asked, what is the purpose of life? Prabhupada replied, the purpose of life is to enjoy. So devotees were like taken back, say, purpose of life is to enjoy. So, but what kind of enjoyment? Right? Then the question comes, okay, what is enjoyment? Enjoyment may be there, people may be drink and be merry and have fun, but that momentary enjoyment leads to suffering later. So that cannot be enjoyment. Why? Because this is a prelude to suffering. So if you do something and then you suffer later, that's not really enjoyment. So real enjoyment means serving Krishna and pleasing Krishna, because that's our real interest. Because when Krishna is pleased, when Krishna enjoys, we naturally enjoy. Our intention is not to enjoy, our intention is to serve Krishna, but in the process we receive enjoyment, which is the real enjoyment. So he talks about the different, here he talks about Annamaya, so the different stages of consciousness, right? Annamaya. Annamaya is the most basic state of consciousness, right? So everybody you can see in this world are practically running after food to just stay alive. Isn't that a fact? The hard struggle for existence you can see. So just few days ago, I just opened my back door and this huge red-tailed hawk, my daughter has a name for, call her Wedgie. It's kind of like a wedge tail. So he picked up a squirrel and he just flew away. The squirrel was innocently, eating his food. But while he's eating, he gets picked up by this hawk. There are many hawks, by the way, in Houston. They're very shrewd creatures, very ruthless. You can see practically everybody is running and working hard to maintain their bodies, to just have some food. And people with, minimum wages, you can see it's just a huge struggle for them just to feed their families. And then because they can't make ends meet, then they go on welfare, and it becomes a burden on the government, then it becomes a burden on the taxpayers. So Maya has got us in such a grip because we have these material bodies. Everything starts from the fact, all our suffering starts from the fact that we've got a material body. If you really analyze it very scrutinizingly, you'll find that all the suffering in this world begins because we have accepted this body. Right? The child, when the baby comes out of the womb, nobody teaches the baby how to eat. Right? Nobody teaches the baby how to cry. Immediately when it comes out, the baby is crying. Right? And the baby is hungry. So the immediate identification is with how I can maintain this body. Even the baby is completely ignorant when it comes out. It knows immediately that I need something to enter my mouth, to fill up my belly. So this is the basic state of consciousness. And so how do we satisfy this hankering? That whatever we put into our mouth has to be prasadam. Right? So the Lord is so kind, He provides everything for every living entity. So the Lord creates by the agency of the Mahat Tattva and the false ego, and creates the egg of this universe. The universe is known as an Anda, the egg. Even modern science accepts the fact that the universe is in the shape of an ellipsoid. We call it an ellipsoid, a symmetrical ellipsoid. It's like an egg. And this egg has got multiple layers, from the gross to the subtle to the most subtle, which is the false ego. And we identify with all these elements. Right? Somebody who's Annamaya is just occupied with gross, like, consciousness. How do I keep this body alive? They don't even go to the next step of, what is the next step? Annamaya, and then? Who knows the next? Huh? Pranamaya. Now I've got food. Now I've got to, pran, life. I have to sustain this life. And of course, for devotees, their pran. Who's their pran? The Lord is their pran. Like the gopis. Lord Chaitanya, the gopis address Krishna as Prananath. And Mahaprabhu has used the word Prananath in the Shikshashtaka. It was something very, very dear to this Mahaprabhu. The name of Krishna as Prananath. Mat Prananath. That's the last name he uses in the Shikshashtaka for Krishna. Mat Prananath. Even there's a great devotee called Gunaraj Khan. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a great devotee who appeared before Mahaprabhu actually. His name was Maladar Bhasu. Maladar Basu, he wrote a poem called, a song called Krishna Vijaya, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong. And in this song, he uses the word Prananath. Because he has used the word Prananath, Mahaprabhu said that the 7 generations of Gunaraj Khan, before and after, I am their servant. So this name of Krishna, Prananath, is so dear to Mahaprabhu. So, Annamaya, Pranamaya. Then, once your life is become a little comfortable, when you're able to breathe without much, then you start thinking about Gyan. Okay, I fulfilled this. This is the natural progression. So you'll see most of them don't even go past Pranamaya in this world. They don't even think, okay, but now I need to acquire more knowledge about this world. What is the purpose? Even you go to college, even you see students who go to college, after they graduate, their purpose is just to get a job, get a salary, buy this, buy that, buy their cars, have a nice girlfriend and party in the weekend. But they don't go past that stage. It's very unfortunate. So therefore, Prabhupada called the universities the slaughterhouse. It slaughters your consciousness, right? Jai Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava, Shri Shri Radha Sigiri Raj Gaur, Shri Sita Chaitanya, Tai Gaurachandra. So it slaughters the consciousness. So human life is meant to transcend. If not, we're just like animals, right? Animals, they're constantly looking for food, right? And when the food problem is solved, now they're after the mating problem. They start looking for their mate. So, but animals never go past that stage. Practically, animals are in Annamoy. In human life, we see mostly Annamoy, some Pranamoy. And then Jnanamoy is when somebody starts aspiring to find out what is the purpose of life, what am I doing here? I came into this world, I'm put in a certain situation. I see that many things are beyond my control. So that stage starts Jnanamoy. And so philosophical inquiry happens. And so the Bhagavad Gita says that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapatye. So it starts from aspiring for some real knowledge. There's two types of knowledge, Paravidya and Aparavidya. So Paravidya is the transcendental knowledge, Aparavidya is material knowledge. So one has to start looking at acquiring knowledge which will make you understand the difference between matter and spirit. So that is the first stage of Brahminical activity. What is the definition of a Brahmana? Brahmana means one who can distinguish between matter and spirit. And everybody is born a Sudra. By the process of samskara, one becomes Dvija. Janmana jayate Sudra samskarit bhavet Dvija, it is said. Everybody in Kali Yuga actually is born a Sudra. By the process of samskara, by the process of purification, by the process of initiation, one becomes twice born. So twice born literally means you don't have like a second biological birth. That means you are born again. The Christians have this concept of a born again Christian. But we are also born again. When the spiritual master initiates you, you're born again into your true constitutional position. But because why are these consciousness so pervasive? Because the universe is arranged that way. The universe is arranged that way. Yesterday we were talking about Lord Shiva in a program, Shivaratri. And Krishna, expansion is Sadashiva, who's in the spiritual realm. Then he voluntarily consorts with the material nature to take on the form of Shambhu. From Shambhu, he becomes the father of the material creation. So Krishna never has any direct connection. Krishna voluntarily, through the agency of Shambhu, just like in the Brahma Samhita it is said, milk, when it contacts a souring agent, it becomes yogurt. So the source of yogurt is milk, but at the same time milk and yogurt are different, very different. All of us know that. So the Lord And then through the agency of Maya, matter, this whole universe is created, and our bodies are given to us. Our states of consciousness are carried on from our previous existence. So we go about in this world completely deluded because we have identified with the body. Grossly, some of us identify with the mind. Those who are a little more advanced identify with the mind. Then some of them a little more advanced identify with the intelligence. So like that, we go on in this world completely oblivious to what's the real purpose of life. So there has to be some inquiry, right? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. That's the original aphorism. So now is the time to inquire. The Vedanta says, Vedanta Sutra says, now is the time to inquire. Who is the Vedanta telling that to? Only those people who are reading the Vedanta, right? That means they are human beings. So the human beings should be the first thing. Now is the time to inquire. I need to inquire, what is the purpose of my life? Nobody asks such this question, very rare. In those days you're taught to ask, what is the purpose of my life? No. Now it's already told to you, the purpose of your life is to squeeze every drop of pleasure in this world, right? The guy with the most toys wins. I saw a bumper sticker the other day. So the guy with the most toys wins. So this has become the motto. It's not only the individual motto, it has become the community motto, it has become the national motto, it has become the global motto, right? So we can see now, just because of this coronavirus, we can see how much we are under the clutches of the material energy. A huge nation like China, practically in any way going to overtake the US in economic prowess, in potentially, they say, even in military prowess, because China has got so much technology, whether it's legitimate or illegitimate, stolen or whatever. But just an insignificant sub-micron on the scale of some nanometers has caused havoc in this country, in that country. And it is becoming a global crisis. And it's something you can't even see. So we think we are independent, we can do everything, we got all our nuclear bombs, we got all this money, and we can do this. But just a sub-microscopic creature, a virus, is practically brought the nation to a standstill, right? The economic loss of China from this is humongous. And people who are depending on China, their economic loss is humongous. So if this continues, and they may say, okay, we'll have a vaccine. Okay, they may come up with a vaccine, but all this virus needs to do is to mutate slightly. And then they need to find another vaccination, right? So we can see with some intelligence that actually we are completely under the control of material nature, and anything good we have going for ourselves is simply by the mercy of Krishna. Right? You don't even know how you are able to breathe. Do you consciously breathe? Do we consciously breathe every day? Oh, I need to take my breath. No, it's going on automatically. Think about it, right? Who is doing that breathing for you? Who is doing that thinking for you? It's simply because the Lord is seated in your body, in your heart. All this is able to happen. If the Lord decides, okay, I need to withdraw some ability in this man and this woman, finish. All you need is a little clot in your brain, and you're a vegetable after that. But still, after you're a vegetable, the Lord gives you the ability to breathe. So we have to think like that. We are so dependent on the Lord. So human life, we have to start thinking, okay, this body is going to be gone. Maybe healthy now, you may be in good shape, but it will be gone in time to come. My family will be gone from me. I may be gone from my family. So let me think about what is really good for me, and let me think what is good for others. So that this process of jnanamaya has to happen. And actually, as devotees, we have to fan this flame in people, at least to come to this platform of asking themselves, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Prabhupada, therefore, kept his classes very basic, because the masses, they can get into intimate relationship with Radha and Krishna, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So Prabhupada knew everybody is suffering, so let's at least start from that platform of how to not identify with your suffering. Because people identify with their suffering because they identify with the body. When they know they are not that body, then they know, okay, this suffering is something which is actually not really affecting my soul. It's affecting my body, it's affecting my mind, it's affecting my ego. Let me try to withdraw myself and not identify with this temporary suffering. Right? So Prabhupada says, if we remain ignorant, then our life is without purpose. If we are ignorant of our real well-wishing benefactor, then our life is without purpose. Imagine you have a best friend who's giving you everything in your life, who is providing for you, who will, who protects you. When you're in trouble, he saves you. But you don't know this person. It's very unfortunate, somebody like this, right? And someone who's very unfortunate if he doesn't even find out who's this person doing all this for me, isn't it? Because ultimately he's the one going to save me. But if that idea doesn't happen in your mind, who's this person doing all this for me? Let me find out. He's such a wonderful friend, such a wonderful provider, such a wonderful maintainer, such a wonderful protector. But many people are just going on with their life, even though everything is given to them, Krishna is protecting them, this question doesn't arise. It's a very unfortunate situation. So devotees, we have to create the fortune in people's life to at least get them to this point of asking these questions. So that happens in the association of devotees. So therefore it is said that if you are breathing and if you don't have such inquiry in your heart, your breathing is that like of a bellow. I don't know if you all see those days, the blacksmith, those who work with metal, they have this bellow they use to start a flame and get the flame going to work their metal. So our lungs are breathing just like that, expanding and contracting. But it doesn't lead to any real benefit. The gift of human life is a fortunate opportunity for the conditioned soul. By turning away from the Lord, the living entity commits spiritual suicide. So a lot of people in this world are starting to commit suicide. You find that it's increasing because people are getting removed from their real identity, and they start identifying with their minds. You find that now in this internet world, in this age of technology, people don't have, all their friends are cyber friends. Mostly people don't have like relationship with like here, we sitting here and talk to, everything is through the cyberspace. And it will come in the future where this artificial intelligence is becoming so sophisticated. So your friend in the cyberspace could be actually a bot. And you may think this is actually a person. So you may be having a conversation daily, you know, telling your problems, and you get response, and that person, that so-called person tells you their problem, and this conversation go on. Maybe in 20, 30 years, you will never be able to say if the other person is an actual person. It could be a bot. It's a scary situation. And in fact, it may even get more personal than an actual human being, because it doesn't take effort for a bot to become very personal, right? Being personal is a very exhausting task. Let's say if you want to help somebody, you have to be a person. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of emotional investment. So over time you'll find that this is where people be headed to. And therefore this aspect of impersonalism will keep increasing. So your boss in the future may be a bot, may be a highly intelligent bot and a ruthless bot, which tells you you're only working 8 hours, you should be working 12 hours. So this is all happening actually. And so all this problem starts because we turn away from the Lord. When we turn away from the Lord, we start thinking we are the Lord. And we start thinking we are the Lord, all problem comes, because we can never be the Lord. We are meant to be lorded over by the Lord. Right. So the Lord is the predominator, and we are the predominated. But it's a relationship of love. It's not this word predominate may have a very exploitative connotation, but it's not. But the Lord predominates, but He never exploits. And those who are predominated living entities, their real pleasure is to serve the predominator. And we find when that relationship is established, then this real happiness, the real purpose in life happens. So, like I said, people are starting to commit suicide. There are even blog groups advising people how to commit suicide. It's a pretty horrible situation. In Japan, the suicide rate is increasing so much. People say because Japan doesn't have much sun, that's why, mostly overcast. So it's true, actually, if you're depressed, you go and step out in the sun a little bit, you feel better. So it's good to spend time out in the sun. Don't always be inside your house, within the walls. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless. So the killer of the soul in the Bhagavatam, some part of the Bhagavatam, it says those who are killers of animals are actually killers of the soul. And for them, people enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness. So what does darkness mean? Does it mean there's no sun in this place? But this place is also known as a place of ignorance. But the sun rises every day. So it talks about the darkness of consciousness. So in Sanskrit, darkness and ignorance are used interchangeably. Tamo. Tamo, sometimes ignorance, sometimes known as darkness. Tamosoma Jyotirgama. So we should leave this place of darkness and go to the place of light. The Ishopanishad says, one of the Upanishad, Tamasoma Jyotirgama, leave darkness and go to light. And this is real light. The service of the Lord and His devotees and devotional service is real light. So as such, as devotees, we have a great task at hand. We should endeavor to perfect our lives, and in the process of perfecting our lives, we should help others. That is actually the purpose of human life. Lord Chaitanya has said that. Janma sartaka kari para upakar. So find the purpose of your life, janma sartaka kari, and then do good. This is Mahaprabhu's instruction. And if you do that, you'll find that your life will become very meaningful, very blissful, and your relationship with the Lord will become. So we should at least, let alone going to Jnanamoy, Vijnanamoy, Anandamoy, and then Premamoy. There's another state of consciousness called Premamoy. So we should at least encourage people in this world to start asking these questions, and then with proper association, with proper Sangha, then it can lead to other. Because yesterday we went to a funeral. We were chanting. There was a group of people, relatives and friends. None of them uttered their mouth to chant. And they were all Indians practically. So I was thinking, wow, it doesn't occur to them that they have to chant. They know Krishna, they know Rama, they know Hari. Everybody was just sitting like, out of formality they've come. So we have to encourage this thing. And you're not going to lose if you use your tongue to chant Krishna's name. In fact, you've got everything to gain. So this is a long purport. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Any comments? Yes, Thakur Haridas Prabhu. Nice to see Thakur Haridas Prabhu.
I was just thinking to connect the dots between the coronavirus and the killer of the soul, because those diseases are coming out of the wild animal markets in China. They collect the animals and they try to enjoy the delicacies of these different animals, and they get these diseases.
Yeah. Horrible. I mean, it's very, very, very brutal if you think about what these animals have to suffer to satisfy the tongue. In fact, yesterday we were talking about Lord Shiva. So this coronavirus is spreading, but we should spread the Karuna virus. And this virus makes one ecstatic. And it's the mood of Lord Nityananda and Lord Shiva to spread this Karuna infection. So Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness is an infection. You got to infect yourself with bhakti. Only then you will be immune to the onslaught of the material infection. So, and Krishna consciousness is actually very infectious. Very infectious. If you got a fixed up devotee and you got so much bhakti in your heart, you naturally infect people with bhakti. So that should be our modus operandi. Any other questions, comments? the assembled sages. So these are the prayers of the personified Vedas. The Vedas have a personification and the persons. And they are actually glorifying the Lord like this. And so we can talk about so much just on this verse. We can talk for days actually, right? The Bhagavatam is such a amazing literature. And Lord Shiva, in Shivaratri, he takes great pleasure. Lord Shiva is also known to be one of the persons who knows the Bhagavatam. Shukadev, Lord Shiva, like this. So, all right, if not, we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Itai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Sarvam Thakur. Gopi Jana Vallabha.